Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to East Vineland, Vineyard, Vine whatever, New Jersey. I'm terrible. I'm not going to try the intro again. I've faffed it up twice now. We're just going to carry on. We'll just move on past the intro. You know what we're doing. You know who I am. You know what we're playing, and you can probably work out what map I'm on. Oh, I'm sorry. A minute ago I tried doing the intro and got it completely wrong. I said, hello everybody, welcome to Riverview. And I was like, this isn't Riverview. The problem is, normally on Mondays I record Riverview. But today I'm not recording Riverview because I'm actually quite a few videos ahead with Riverview. And I need to record a few episodes of East Vineland, New Jersey to fill in the gaps. So we're back on this map where I am in the process, ladies and gents, of doing some seeding. We're trying to get our winter crops nicely put, our crops put in before the winter. And as a result, I'm working on a few things. So we're planting some barley. I have already planted my canola over here on field 7. Okay, that's planted. I've also mowed some grass because that's going to be something useful to see in a bit. I need to turn that back on. Obviously, I do hate it. I do hate it when you play on a game save with precision farming and then switch back to a game which doesn't use precision farming and precision farming disables all your filters. I don't like that. So I'm going to have to roll field 7, and it looks like we're going to need to roll this field as well after we've seeded it. Right, we own field 11. Now, I bought it after doing the contract, the seeding contract on the field. I bought it. We've also got a couple of fields up here that I didn't realise were mine, which are going to be ready for harvesting soon. I'm also very tempted by this magnificent field here, because it's got cotton on it, ladies and gents. Very big massive field of cotton. Now I could harvest that potentially and do some, money making. So I'm going to buy that field, ladies and gents. That is what I'm going to do. I know, spending all my money. Shock horror. And then we'll need to get a harvester, obviously. And then we'll need a thing for picking up the cotton bales, obviously. But yeah, we should be in a good position. Now, another thing I want to do, based on the fact that I have mowed some grass off camera, is maybe move into the next animals. We know we added the chickens. Or we did an experiment with the chickens. Well, it turns out, ladies and gents, that the chicken pen over on the farm doesn't work, or didn't work. Now, I mentioned in the last video that I had seen a Steam post, not Steam post, a forum post over on Giants on the Mod Hub bug report page. Someone had posted a post saying that the chicken pen at the on this map didn't work. The chickens don't gain any health. They don't produce any eggs. So I figured I might as well test it as we are here. And sure enough, having put the chickens in the animal pen, in the pen, having given them food, advanced time a little bit, advanced the day, nothing happened. The chickens were doing absolutely nothing. So what I did instead was sell the chickens and the chicken pen that came with the map, and I've placed another one from mods from I think it's the one that comes with the productions, the production overhaul mod thing. the Dragon's Den production mod, because it lets you have 2,000 chickens, which is a little bit smaller than the chicken pen that actually come with the map, which is obviously 5,000, but it's better to have a chicken pen that works. So I've got the Dragon's Den one. Obviously, because of that, I've had to do some little bit of editing of finances and stuff using the Easy Devs control, because I didn't think it was fair. I didn't think it was terribly fair that I sell a chicken pen. I get 10,000 for selling the map chicken pen, which doesn't work, and instead have to spend 84 grand of my own money to replace it with a chicken pen that does. So yeah, basically what I've done then is just swap it over. For some reason that did not do any seeding. That was a bit weird. Seeding as I was driving down there, despite the fact it was lowered. So yes, I've swapped. I will take you over and I will show you the chicken pen in a little while, because I've also, obviously, we was in the process of sorting out the fields around that, doing all that good stuff. We'll go and do that. I just really need to finish the seeding, and then obviously we'll move on to the field next to us. I think I'm probably just going to do another field of barley, because obviously now we've got the big field over there with wheat on it, and I've got a fairly big field there with canola on it. We're kind of doing okay. Obviously the other fields that I harvest between now and the end of the year are not going to get replanted this year. We're going to have to wait till the spring, which means we're probably going to do some oilseed radish on all those fields to save me loads of fertilizer stuff. And then we carry on a bit further, doing lots of other nice things. No new equipment has been added since the last video, although I have downloaded a new mod, which I don't really need because I've already got my sprayers and stuff, but obviously under crop protection we've now got the John Deere 4940 self-propelled sprayer mod from custom modding, which was obviously a great mod in FS19, very useful. Comes with the option of how you can buy obviously a sprayer to go on the back of it, or you can buy a spreading unit to go on the back of it, so you can do lime spreading with it, you can do fertilizer spraying, herbicide spraying. Very useful tool, nice capacities on the spraying and spreading. I think the lime spreader is about 32,000 litres, so you want a big lime spreader that you don't have to refill quite so many times. Definitely worth getting that mod. I assume it's on consoles. I'm going to guess, based purely on the fact that I just had a quick look at it, and it starts with Wheelbrand Lizard, that is the console and everything version. I imagine if you go to the custom modding Facebook page, you will be, and you're a PC player, you can get a version of this particular sprayer that's designed for PC, which will have higher resolution textures, and will also have different branding, custom branded tyres like Firestone, Goodyear, that kind of thing. Because that's what custom modding do. They like to release mods on PC only versions of their mods via their Facebook page, which have all the bells and whistles and features that the mod hub doesn't allow or doesn't allow if you're trying to make it multi-platform and cross-play enabled. So rather than release 2 versions on the mod hub, which some mod authors release 2 versions of a mod on the mod hub, one that's PC only and one that's console and cross-play compatible. Custom Modding just released the one mod on the mod hub and then say, hey, PC players, if you want the better version, come to our Facebook page and download it. Doesn't cost anything to do that. Obviously, you just have to be able to use Facebook. I know some people are against using Facebook and, oh, I'm not having Facebook, it's the devil, and all that nonsense, but hey, unfortunately, social media is not going anywhere despite your protests. And if you want access to some of these things and want to be able to download some of these things, you have to do it, because that's where the modders and that choose to go, because they feel it's easier to communicate with people via their own pages and stuff than it is to do it via Giants, which is a bit sad. Again, from my perspective, Giants have this great forum that I feel could be utilised a lot more and could be made the centre of all things farming simulator. You know, you've got the mod hub section on the forum. I don't see why it wouldn't be, why it would be difficult to create a page within that section for each mod author. And each mod author has their own little section where people can go in, talk about their mods, discuss issues with their mods, and the mod authors can react and respond to that. I would have thought that would have been just something that could have been sorted out very easily by making it part of the mod hub terms of conditions. Like when you go to submit a mod to the mod hub, you agree to checking and using the Giants forum to, you know, support your mod. Your mod will have a page on the forum where people can obviously discuss it, bug feedback, submit bug reports on it. And as a mod author, if you want your mod to remain on the mod hub and you want to continue to receive payment from Giants for your mod on the mod hub, you have to you know, talk to the people via your mod page on the forum and respond to any feedback, any issues, bug reports, that sort of thing on the forum. It would make it a lot easier, because a lot of the time when you have issues with mods, it's very difficult a lot of the time find out how to contact the mod author and how to open up dialogue with the mod author, unless you know they've got a Facebook page or something and you know where it is. It could be a bit difficult, and like, how do I submit a problem? How do I submit a problem and know that it's actually been seen and is being responded and reacted to? And it's a bit strange that there isn't. I mean, obviously I understand from the other aspect as well that, you know, putting people's contact details publicly, you know, you could end up with a lot of people, you know, you're always going to get those people that are going to abuse it. That, you know, if a mod author, if they have an easy way to contact a mod author, they're going to do it for the wrong reasons. You know, if they don't like a mod author or don't like something they've produced, they could use that as a way of contacting them to send abuse. Yes, that's unfortunately the negative side of that, but at the end of the day, you're publicly putting out mods for a game, you're going on the internet making yourself publicly, you kind of have to accept you're going to perhaps get some shitty feedback, and you're going to get a few bad people who are going to just want to be trolls and abuse you. Hell, I as a content creator have to deal with that every single day. That for as many people as there are that watch the videos, enjoy the videos, like the videos and that, there's also those that just want to just try and be negative. You know, they want to put me down. You know, they come along, they tell me that my videos are crap. You know, I don't make great content. You know, I ought to play a different game. You know, you deal with all that. You get those comments every day, and it's just a case of, hey, part and parcel of what you do. And I think, obviously, over time, you get conditioned to it, and you get a thick skin. You know, very rarely now do I bother reacting and responding to the negatives and the obvious trolls. It's far easier just to hit the block button and ban them from the channel. Honestly, that's far quicker and easier way to deal with them than getting into a discussion with them. Believe me, it takes a lot less time to block someone and ban someone than it does for them to sit there and type their abuse. That's the great thing. You know, that's the wonderful thing. Right, I am going to stop there for the seeding because I want to do some rolling with my fancy Mandako roller, because we need to roll this canola field. And I've used this Mandako roller once before, because I rolled the grass field with it after I seeded my grass field over by the house, which we'll take a little trip to. And I'm glad I came to use the Mandako roller after I'd already had the issues with the cultivator, because the roller the roller is exactly the same as the Mandako cultivator. You open it and unfold it, you lower it, and then you've got to muck about with the analog sticks and stuff to actually get it to actually do the rolling. There's like height control built into the thing. So again, if I hadn't actually had the issues with the Mandako roller cultivator, I would have got the roller and thought that was broken, because the first time I came on the field here, lowered the roller, unfolded the roller, lowered the roller, it wasn't doing anything. And it wasn't until I was like, oh, I bet I've got to muck about. So yeah, this is my new chicken pen. I know it doesn't look fancy and amazing compared to the one that went round here and was all fancy and amazing, but it is what it is. Worst case scenario, in a worst case scenario, I can always add in a second one to fill this area a little more. I could always put in another chicken pen, flip it round the other way so it's fence to fence. It might stick out a little bit further over here, I don't know, but that's an option, isn't it? And then we would have twice as much egg production. It is going to overlap quite a bit with my field. That's the only thing. I mean, I would be able to squeeze it in there. And I could have a second one. Obviously, if this car shed thing wasn't here, had I had the foresight in my brain to delete that, I could have positioned the first chicken pen over here. I could have moved it a bit further this way, and then I would have had more room to put in a second one. But that's that, ladies and gents. We've got the chickens. The chickens are happy. They are healthy. And as you can see, they are producing eggs. So we're not going to worry too much about the chickens. We are, however, going to worry about doing the rolling. Now, when I was preparing this field, and doing the ploughing and everything, I did make it a little bit bigger. This field has grown a little bit. Same with all the fields, really, when I ploughed them. I put fresh new edges on most of them, didn't I? But yeah, we've got the lovely Mandako roller here. Tell you what, makes quick work of the rolling. Interestingly though, obviously the crops I have planted thus far are not part of that fancy mod that I downloaded the other day off the mod hub, which is the rolling mod. There's a mod that on the mod hub which actually which eliminates the need to roll certain crops. There's certain crops that when you plant them, seed them, you don't have to do any rolling, because in real life you wouldn't roll them. You wouldn't do the rolling. So there's a guy's made a mod to simulate that you wouldn't roll certain crops. So there are certain things in the game that when you plant them and seed them now, you don't have to worry about doing this rolling malarkey. I guess I haven't planted anything yet that doesn't need rolling, because everything I've planted, the canola, the barley, has needed rolling. So I've not seen the benefit of that mod yet. So I'm kind of at a bit of a guess. I'm kind of wondering what crop it actually is, what crops are affected by that mod. I ought to, I could go and read the mod description and see if it tells me, but I'm kind of more interested in seeing in-game myself how and what crops are affected. Because again, I like to just figure things out. I like to figure things out and work things out and find stuff on my own, sort of thing. And I hope that's why a lot of people watch my videos, because, I don't try to be one of these people that thinks they know everything there is to know about the game. And I'm happy to admit that I don't know everything. And my way's not the only way. My way's not the correct way of doing things. At the same time, I hope people also know that I don't sit here and say stuff just to try and make it look like I know what I'm doing. Know what I'm talking about. I don't just make stuff up like some other creators do to make themselves look important or feel important when they actually don't have a clue what they're doing or what they're talking about. If I'm playing a game for the first time, for the very first time, then I am trying to figure it out the same as everybody else, and I will sit there and I will make mistakes, I will do things wrong, I will get things, round my neck. And I hope people, appreciate that, It's the people that sit there and tell you things that just, they know as much about the game as anybody else and everybody else, yet they start telling you stuff that's just completely made up just to try and present this image that they are experts at the game. So hopefully people will just keep watching them playing the game because they are the experts. But it's like the game's only just come out. It might be day one of a game releasing, and there are YouTubers and streamers that are trying to make out they're the God's gift to gaming. They're the experts. And it's like, you know as much about the game as anyone else. The only difference between you and me is when I'm playing a game, I admit I know nothing about it, and I'm quite happy to make a balls up. And I'm happy to make mistakes. And I don't necessarily want the content to be perfect and amazing, because again, I would like people to learn from my content how not to do things, and maybe be a bit educated. But we'll see. There's a couple of games coming in the future that I'm going to be looking at. And I think when I sit down to play those, I'm going to play those with absolutely no... I ain't going to do any research on the game. I'm not going to look at anything. I'm just going to literally download the game, install it, open it up, hit the record button and go from there. And people have two options. They could either watch the videos and be entertained by someone learning the game and figuring things out and, you know, making progress the way everybody in the game would be doing so. Or if you're the kind of person that just wants to see an expert and professional play it, then it probably won't be the videos for you. You might want to go and watch someone else that pretends to be an expert and pretends to know everything about the game. Not mentioning any names, but I know there are people who view the channel and view these videos and know exactly who I'm talking about. Every time a new game comes out, they're streaming it and they know everything. They know more than they know more about the game than the developers do. And it's just laughable. Just absolutely laughable. Well, there's one guy that claims to be a farming simulator expert. You know, oh yeah, I played that game. Oh, I did everything there was to do in it. You know, wasn't any different from any of the other games I've played in the series. And then you look and see on his Steam profile that he only played the game for an hour. He only played FS22 for an hour. So it's like, well, okay, if you played the game for an hour, how do you know everything there is to know about the game, and how have you done everything there is to do in the game? You know, pretty sure within an hour of play you haven't gone through the seasons, you haven't gone through the calendar, you haven't done all the production stuff. You know, to sit there and say FS22 is no different from any other game in the series is a bit of a lie, bit of a false claim. Because FS22 is quite a bit different than the previous games in the series. And you certainly need to spend a little bit more than an hour playing it to appreciate and understand those differences. But hey, you know, what can you say? He probably only played the game for an hour because he was giving it for free. Because he's probably one of those people that does get the game for free, sadly, even though he doesn't play it, doesn't make any content on it. Yeah. So that is the field rolling with the Mandako. It's so nice. So nice to be rolling with the Mandako roller. But yes, I made some I mowed some grass using my new mower, and I used my loading wagon, let that grass up nice and loose. Because what I plan to do, ladies and gents, is I plan to add the sheep. Now I've got 725,000 buckaroonies. What I probably ought to do is find out where things are on the map. Right, where's the spinnery? DD Spinnery. Because we probably want to buy that. We do. Because we're going to do sheep. We're going to do warp fabric. Is there a tailor's on the map? Tailor shop. There is. I want that. I want that as well, please. So that's going to be one of our first productions then. Our first production chains. We're going to be doing things with wool and cotton to produce lots of really nice things. So obviously, to further assist us with that, we are going to need a sheep barn. Yeah. We're going to need some sheeps. And we're going to select. We can have 5,000 sheep. So if we have, I don't know, 50 of each, that'll be 200 to start with, won't it? That'll do. That's spent a fair bit of money. We'll come and give them some foods. I'm guessing that's where the eggs go. Might have to see if we can sort out the spawnage. Again, if I can auto ship my wool from my sheeps to the spinnery and to the tailor shop, that will be very nice. If I have to do it with a trailer, that's obviously going to be a bit of a logistics issue. But we shall see. So yeah, sheeps are in. I will get the food for them added in a short while. Meanwhile, daylight is burning. Daylight is sadly deserting us, so we need to carry on and get the seeding done. Try not drive on my other field, of course. And then we've got 2 fields here to roll with our big roller once I've done the seeding. Oh yeah, all will be pretty good going. I could have probably done, certainly as I was mowing the grass field over yonder, I kind of realised that that grass field could be a lot bigger. That grass field could be a lot bigger. Because there's quite a gap between it and the field that I've just done the rolling on of the canola. And obviously, a proper grass field yields more than a meadow. Than like the free grass, the wild grass. It's the way it is. Always has been, always will be. In a farm sim game. Right, I need to come and do that second row. For some reason, I think I've lifted up a little bit early. Fix that now. I left a little bit of a strip that I hadn't seeded. If that touch, it's actually going to be perfect width. That'll be perfect width. Nice thumbnail for the screenshot. And there you go, happy sheeps. Happy sheeps. Yeah, we'll give those sheep some food. All they're happily producing. And we'll worry about the productions then. So we've got the spinnery and the tailor shop as our first two. That'll obviously give us a nice steady source of income. It's only really impacted obviously by the cotton situation. A bit of luck. Don't know too much about that. Right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Workerman. He's going to be doing that. In the meantime, I did have my trailer parked over here. Let's quickly go and deliver some grass to the sheeps. We want them to be productive fairly quickly. Of course, I've left that loading wagon in probably the worst position imaginable. Blocking my fill point. Back him up. Back him up. Back him up. Right. Let's get some grass. And go feed some sheeps. I've got 247,000 litres in here. That'll probably do very nicely. Like I say, I'm not against having more sheep pens down the road. Having more sheeps. Depending on obviously how the production goes. If the production of wool is not that fast, and we're struggling to really provide the spinnery and the tailor shop with wool, then we may have to get and invest in some more sheep pens. I also didn't check whether the sheeps need any additional foods on this map. They don't. They just eat grass. So it's only the chickens that the map author has messed about with. And given extra stuff. One of which is something called cracked corn, which isn't very easy to come by. I think you need a production to produce cracked corn, which is the 60% on the chickens. You've got base food 60%, grain 20%, sunflowers 20%. The grain is the wheat, barley and sorghum. So wheat, barley and sorghum only gives you 20% production. Sunflowers only give you 20% production. And then this base food, which isn't stated anywhere on here, is actually something called cracked corn. Like I say, You can produce it yourself if you have a production. I've had to buy it for this thing. I think it's a bit strong. Potentially a bit of an ask of the author to have a product that requires production buildings, heavy investment in buildings and factories and stuff to produce, be such a massive contributor to your chicken's production. Could be wrong. Feels like for me to get the maximum out of my chickens, I have to spend hundreds of thousands of bucks on factories and machines to produce their food type that gives them 60% production. You know, I'm not against adding, obviously I'm not against adding additional food types to animals. Hell, I do that myself on my other maps. I add additional food types, but I do so in the fact that in a way that it gives players options. You can use this or this, you know, depending on what you have lying around. I don't put barriers in place like, you know, I don't make it so like pigs, for example. Pigs need potatoes are 80% of a pig's production. Because then you're forcing the player to heavily invest in potato technology to get the most out of pigs. And that's expensive. Potato harvesters, potato planters, all specialised tech and equipment. And obviously I need to provide them with a lot more grass. But yeah, I'll let the guy do the seeding. We'll let the worker finish off my seeding, and then I will do the rolling. That will then put us pretty much out of... well, we'll have a little bit of time. We'll then have to look at some contracts. October, we'll probably have some harvesting to do. By the way, there's been an update to the Better Contracts mod, which I will talk about more in the next video. It's a bit weird, ladies and gents. And it's going to take some... This is a bit of discussion, because I don't necessarily 100% agree with all the changes that the author has put in. He's been listening and taking... I think he's been listening to feedback on his GitHub page. And he's been implementing it without actually stopping to think whether that's actually the best, you know, the best course of action for the mod. He's listening to the voice of the one. He's listening to the voices of the one instead of the voices of the many. He's trying to please one person as opposed to thinking about all the people that use his mod that are sat there quite happy not saying anything because they quite enjoy the mod. The one vocal person that is against the mod or against aspects of the mod, he's been kind of influenced by. I don't like that, but we'll talk about that in the next video. But ladies and gents, we have reached the end of today's video. It has gone long, I apologise, but thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one very soon. Cheerio for now.